Niingie.
Six.
Hello, and good evening. Yes, it is Monday, and it is 8:06 p.m. We apologize that we are coming later, but we are here, we are good, and we start by apologizing. Last Monday, we were not able to come here and be on air, and we really missed you, and we really apologize for that. And tonight, we are on 8. We are doing the second episode of Man and His Image. And I am joined by one suspect, because two suspects, they are not in tonight, and one of the suspects is not feeling well, and the other one is out of town, Reverend Bernard and Simon K. But we love you. I know they'll be joining us online. They'll be watching us. And thank you very much for always coming here and giving people hope, coming here and speaking to people out there. And you are impacting many people out there. As usual, you know, every Monday we come here and just have Man Talk. This is a show where we have issues that concerns men, and this is called the City Gate. And this is where we ensure that everything that is supposed to remain in the city, that no one can dare remove it from the city. And that which that needs to come in, as men, we need to do something so that we can do that justice and bring that which that needs to be in the city. And I am joined by my friend here.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How are you?
Very fine.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Leo tuko hapa wawili.
Tuko hapa.
We have said,
yes,
there is no way we can leave the city gate unmanned.
It has to be manned
We
under
must
all
come.
costs.
Yes. We must come.
Whether by one or by two,
Yes.
we must man the city gate.
Whether raining or sunshine,
Yes.
the gates must remain manned.
Yes, very,
Thank you so
very
much
true.
for coming.
You're welcome.
Hoping that we had a great weekend.
Yes, I had a great weekend, very busy indeed.
Yeah.
I was all over, and I thank God that the grace is sufficient.
Yes.
I am happy to be back.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Pastor Gigi. I'm happy to be seated here talking about man and his image.
Yes.
I am still also trying to protect my image, Bana.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yes.
Yes.
I need to make sure that people get the right image about myself.
Yes.
Because image is everything.
Yes.
Yes.
True. Yes, and that is what we are discussing tonight, and this is Wema TV, the voice of hope. My name is Willie Kinyash. I'm at the Undisputed, and tonight we are going to have a wonderful time with men out there. And all the ladies who always join us, it is always pleasure to have you on board. And so, mujisikie mko pahali panapofaa na mujisikie mko nyumbani. Tunawapenda sana.
Kabisa.
And we always value your feedback. So if there is something you want to write to us, kindly you can do so. Write to us. And we'll be able to get back to you. And I can see Bernard Warui is already joining us.
Oh, welcome.
Anasema,
Welcome.
tuko hapa kabisa.
That's
and
great.
Very Bernard. They are here in Semikan. Thank you very much.
Seems like they are together.
I don't know. They can tell us. Are you together? I can see maybe Bernard is number 1 to comment, and number 2 it is Bernard Warui.
Yeah.
So if you're together, let us know.
Yes.
But I know Bernard is out of the city.
He could have gone with the...
Okay.
Yes.
Now you're talking. So we want to talk about man and his image.
Yes.
And maybe we can do a recap of what you guys discussed last time.
Sure. Last Monday but one, we looked at man and his image. And we started by saying that image is about how people perceive you out there. And therefore we said that it is very important that we present ourselves as men in the right way. Because we don't have the power to decode what people will see or think about us.
Yeah.
So we said it is very, very important that every man makes sure that they present themselves in a way that the people out there will perceive them in the right way. Then we said of course, there are many ways in which we present ourselves. First of all, we talked a lot about dressing, and we said that dressing is everything. We said that we dress for people, not ourselves. So the clothes that I wear because I want people to get a certain perception about myself.
Yes.
So I don't just wear that which pleases me. And you know, and I remember Reverend Warui saying that he doesn't like ties, you know, but because there are certain places that he has to go, like a place he was this weekend, and they demand him to put on a tie, then he has to wear a tie once in a while.
Yes.
Because it's not about himself, it's about the people that he's actually presenting himself to. Then we also said that number 2, it has got to do with the places that we go to. That there are certain places that we go to, and those places actually will make people perceive us in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so we must be very careful to choose the places that we go very, very carefully, so that we do not portray an image that we are not. And then we stopped at a point where we were saying that our character, our behavior has also got to do with the way people perceive us. That it portrays either a negative or a positive image depending on how we behave ourselves. How do we present ourselves in terms of behavior? What do I talk about? How do I conduct myself when I'm in certain environment? You know, and we said a man who is always touchy will portray a certain image about himself that sometimes people might even misconceive because, you know, of the way that he was behaving. And so we said that our behavior is very, very important in as far as our image is concerned to the people out there. Basically, that is what we discussed.
And as you're talking about we dress for the people,
yes.
Remember someone said somewhere that you dress the way you want people to address you.
That is very true.
So there's a way you can dress.
Yes.
And people will start wondering, this guy.
Yes.
I don't know whether there's this video that was doing some rounds of a pastor who went to his church, but he went with tattered clothes.
I saw that.
You see? And he sat somewhere at the parking lot.
Yes.
Then at some point he entered to the church and he wanted to go in front there,
and
some guys came running and said, man,
this is a madman.
And the pastor was very sad.
Yes.
He went back there and sat. And of course he had planned with some few elders.
Yes.
And so when the time came for preaching, the elder says, and now
we want to invite the pastor.
To invite the pastor and come and share the word of God.
The word of God.
And the man, some men, the protocol men and ushers, refused him to take his seat. They see him coming
from the back.
From back. With those started clothes to go and preach.
Yes.
You see, because people will
address you the way you are dressed.
So they were addressing this pastor as a man.
It happens. In my church, we have a slogan. We say that we give in different ways. I know Nairobi preachers and giving. And we always say that one, you give according to the way you are dressed. So the clothes you wear will determine how you give. Because we look at you and judge you from what you're wearing.
From the looks.
So you are actually addressed according to the way you are dressed. That is very true. And we must be very, very careful that we wear certain kind of clothes because we want people to look at us and address us that way. You know, I want you to imagine a situation where I am 80 years, you know, or 90 years old like my father. And then I am dressed in these ragged jeans. I mean, people will think that I have a problem. People will think that I have lost my mind. You know, but I believe at my age, although I'm moving out of that now, people will not find it a very big deal. If they found me wearing some rovers and some ragged jeans, you know, and I'm just carefree. Because at that particular age, people would expect that I'm transitioning. But look at me at 80 years and I'm walking in town, you know, with the ragged jeans, you know, and then Pegine, I'm even wearing my cap, you know, front backwards. I mean, people will wonder what is wrong with this. You know, I can tell you dressing has a lot to do with the image that we portray to the people. Because if I dress myself the right way, people will actually think this is the right kind of a guy.
Yes,
but if I dress myself wrongly, then I am going to actually confuse people. Like you're saying, people wonder, is this Pastor Gigi or is this another person?
Yeah.
So we really have got to be very, very careful what we put on, the way we put it on, to make sure that we actually looking the right kind of people. And talking about dressing, we also need to be very careful the combinations that we do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we also do certain funny combinations that people...
Of colors or...
Of course, yes.
No, men and colors.
Colors, and of course, even the type of clothes. But talking about colors, you know, some colors that are they called crashing or clashing?
Crashing.
That one, eh?
Yeah.
And then you're looking at this guy and he looks like he has just fallen from some Jupiter planet somewhere.
Looks like
you
a
know?
walking flower.
Exactly. So we got to be very careful.
Yes.
I mean, if you need some tutorial as a man, it does no harm to sit down with somebody who knows how to do those combinations, and this person helps you to know that you actually addressed properly in the right way.
Yes.
You know, one of the simplest ways we tell people when we're talking about it, please don't wear more than 3 colors. You know, at least
So,
make sure.
Let me check.
Yes.
You have 3.
I have 3. And I
have
want
4.
No.
Yourself.
I have 3. This and this are the same. My friend, what's up with you?
Okay.
My socks and my t-shirt are the same color. You know, you wear
On a lighter note,
you wear 3. Wait, don't bust bubbles here, Bana. You know, you wear maximum of 3 colors.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will look so flowery,
Yes.
and people will start wondering, are you a comedian or are you what?
Yes.
You know, if you're a comedian, fine.
Yes.
That is profession, so we allow it to be.
Yes.
But don't overdress. Don't wear so many different things that make you look funny. You know.
And talking about colors,
Yes.
you know, nowadays I'm seeing some colors people are wearing.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, God of heaven, what has changed in this generation?
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
nowadays you
It
couldn't
is-
see a man wearing a
It's-
yellow trouser.
Of course, yes. Those are trends, eh?
Yes.
Those are trends, and when trends now start playing, people now begin to do things that we imagine they were crazy.
Yes.
Because honestly, when I was growing up, how would a man put on a yellow trouser?
Trouser.
You know, or a pink shirt?
Yes.
And you know now is a in thing. I'm wearing pink.
I
My
can
goodness. You know, it is trend. And when trend comes, then you get to a point where you have to accept it.
Yes.
But as much as it is trending, let's also be very careful that we don't go to the extremes. Yes.
That is-
I mean, on a different note, how does a man put on a sports shoe and a tie?
You know,
My brother, honestly.
talking about that, there's this man.
Yeah?
We went somewhere and there's this man we met. He
Yes.
was wearing a very expensive suit
Uh-huh.
with spots.
Oh my goodness.
Then I asked my wife, see this guy. Only to look at him, he's someone that we know.
Oh.
And do you know what my wife told me?
Yes.
Hivi ndio nakwambiaga.
Uh-huh.
Sasa I don't blame this man.
Yes.
I blame the wife.
It is the wife. Honestly speaking, for every married man, the wife has a role to play
Yes.
in their dressing. Enough times I've dressed up and my wife looks at me and tells me, you better change. And it is only prudent, hata kama wewe ni kichwa ngumu, it is only prudent that when your wife tells you that, please
Just
listen.
Obey.
Yes, and change, because we said we dress for people, not for ourselves. There are certain things that we want to wear, but they are only good for us.
Yes.
They are not good for the people that are going to be watching or looking at us. And therefore, we've got to be very, very careful that we do not dress in a way that makes us look like we are ghosts walking on earth. Because how can you put on, a suit and some Reebok shoes and then a tie kwanza ile mrefu imefika beyond waist?
But
You know,
they're saying it is the trend.
honestly, as much as it is trend, some of it I doubt whether it is legally trend. Some of it is ignorance. Some of it is ignorance. That guys don't know what to combine with what. Some of it is excitement of having bought a new shoe.
No,
I will tell you the truth.
No, chuge sana.
Let the stones come.
There is a guy from studio I've seen with a suit and some
Oh my
bigger
goodness.
shoes.
We need to have a tutorial with him. Can I look around and see? Yeah, I hope he's not in today. You know, but honestly speaking, there are certain dress codes that make you look like you are actually out of this world. I want to tell men, as you dress up in a way that you will look presentable to whoever sees you. That you will not feel embarrassed. You know, you will not feel like, oh, I should have done something different. You know, one of the suspects said last time that you should dress up in a way that when you get out of your house and you receive a call from State House saying that you are needed in State House, you don't need to go back to the house to change. You know, because you know whether you're casually dressed, and well dressed. You know, there's something that is also trending, that men are not wearing socks. Yes, men are not wearing socks.
It is wrong.
It is wrong for a man not to wear socks. I'm coming slowly. Can we check? I mean, I know you don't want the socks to be seen up, but there are those ankle socks that are actually invisible. Why do we wear socks?
It is a trend, my friend.
It is a trend, but it's a bad trend. Because when you get to a place and you're required to remove your shoes, and you've been sweating, and your amino acids have been behaving, and the friction between your leg and the leather has been actively involved the whole day. Let me tell you, the moment you remove those shoes, the natural perfume that I talked about last time begins to come out.
Man,
watu wanaanza kukimbia.
We need to have a meeting.
We need to have a meeting and agree.
Yes.
If you cannot stand the socks that are visible, wear those socks. What are they called? The ones, kuna ankle socks zile invisible kabisa. You know, there are those ones that you can see. There are those that you actually cannot tell that you're in ankle socks. But it is not fair. It is not right for a man to wear shoes.
It is not fair. It is not right.
Sio ungwana.
Sio ungwana.
That you wear shoes without socks, honestly. Because by the end of the day, hiyo miguu yako itakuwa inanuka. And people will actually tell. You will start wondering why are people running away from me. You know?
Or you start blaming some kids when they come and they start.
Yes, exactly. And they're embarrassing you.
Start saying that, watoto hawajafunzwa.
Yes. Yes, if you don't want to wear socks, please put on open shoes. Yes, that is allowed. It is totally acceptable. But as long as ati umevaa kiatu ya bata closed, official, na hujavaa socks, honestly, hiyo si ungwana.
Now that you belong to the clergy,
yes,
I want us to talk about men.
Yes.
And even some ladies.
Yes.
When you're doing evangelism,
yes,
going out there, as we're talking about dressing, because I've seen somewhere we have gone,
yes,
and people have refused to receive message,
sure,
because of the way some ladies came dressing.
Sure. And so it's not just ladies.
You go with ragged
and tights. Yeah, and tights.
Yes.
That are showing and miniskirts.
Yes.
It's true. I agree with you that as much as we have the freedom to dress, and they say my dress, my choice. I respect that. It is their choice. But there is something called wisdom. Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. Wisdom. To know what to do, where and at what time. That is a very, very important thing.
Yes.
That like I said earlier on, we dress because of people.
Yes.
And because we dress because of people, if I'm going out for outreach, then my motive for going is to win souls. The question should be, for me to win these souls, what do I need to do?
Yes.
I need to take care of my character. I need to take care of my dressing.
Yes.
I cannot wear clothes that will make someone not to receive Christ.
Yes.
That I am presenting to them. You know, I am the best image of Christ here on earth.
Yes.
That is what I believe in. That when somebody looks at me, they should actually see the image of Christ in my life.
Yes.
And so, if the dress that I wear, whether it is my trousers, even as men, because some of us love tight trousers, you know, those slim fits.
Yes.
Sometimes they are too slim and too fitting until they can cause obstruction. I think some of us need to be prosecuted for causing obstruction on the way. You know, if that is what I am going to wear. My question is, the person that I went to preach to, will they receive Christ because of that? If I am a pastor and I'm wearing these stretcher jeans that are so tight, and I'm going to serve Holy Communion, now my question is, will people be receiving Holy Communion or imagery of certain things that they cannot see, the image of the invisible?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
let me tell you, we've got to be very, very careful that as I go to present Christ, let people first of all see Christ in my physical appearance before they can receive him in the heart. If they cannot receive the messenger, there is no way they will receive the message.
Yes.
If they cannot receive me as a preacher, there is no way they will receive the message that I'm preaching. At certain times, we've got to agree with ladies, wafunge vitaba, because the places we are going, people have not been exposed to these things. I can tell you, I grew up in an environment where, kama ulikaranga nywele, you were seriously not born again. And I can tell you, I did it a few times, hiding. But I can tell you, the moment I landed in my village, hiyo nywele ilikuwa haina choice. Inaenda chini. But when I moved out, sasa now I'm free to relax it. You know, I can do all that I want to do. I will pick up a case from my wife.
Yes.
You know, my wife is a fan of trousers and trouser jeans. I mean, and trouser suits.
Yes.
But my wife will never go to my village in a trouser suit. And we have had to agree. Why? Because my father belongs to that category of those ones that we are talking about.
Yes.
That they will look at it like it is not so acceptable for a lady to be in trousers. And so we agree. Instead of getting to become a stumbling block to someone, why don't you wear your trouser suits this way? Tukienda kule, tafuta ila nimeokoka. After all, yes, kufagia kanjo, tunawasaidia kazi. And it breaks no bone. So the point here is that everyone that is a preacher, a minister of the gospel, whether a preacher, a gospel musician, as a Christian counselor, or whatever form of ministry you do, be very careful what you do. We've had to go for missions, and at certain times, we have needed to reach out to Muslims. What have we done? Ladies put on buibui.
Yes.
You know? Yes, they put on hijab comfortably.
Yes.
And we reached out to them.
To make them to listen to you.
Exactly.
And receive Christ.
It doesn't make me less beautiful as a lady.
I agree.
You know, it doesn't make me less of a man.
Yes.
If I am going to put on a wide trouser, it is called wisdom.
That is wisdom.
Yes.
And I can see we have quite a number of people who have joined us tonight. And Mary Bernard is tuned in. And Bernard Warui tuko hapa kabisa.
Yes.
Sami Kanji tuned in. Asante sana. Na Bernard Warui anasema niko Homa Bay. Ako Homa Bay, ni ukweli ako Homa Bay. Kevin Jema tuned in. We dress for people. I have still not moved on from that realization. Unajua hivyo. Patricia Karani tuned, and Patricia Karani is saying powerful. People address you according to how you are dressed.
You are dressed, that's true.
Kelvin Jema combinations. Kuna watu wanapenda kuvaa suti na sports shoes. Hatutasema ni watu wa
tuseme ni nani.
Watu wa ile side ya Eldoret. Hapa kuna maneno hapa. Mary Bernard anasema niko Kamulu.
Ako Kamulu. Na huyo mwingine ako Kamulu.
Mwingine ako Kamulu.
Okay, so roho ndizo zina connect in the airwaves.
Asante sana. Kelvin Jema, I wear many colors to add a color to someone's body.
Oh my goodness.
And our very own Simon K is tuned in there. Simon K is saying, sipping my ginger and hot water. Good conversation.
May the Lord restore your health.
Yes, you are well in Jesus' name.
Amen.
And Simon K is saying, no socks have been the trend of young people. No socks.
But Bible says my people perish due to lack of knowledge.
Yeah. Ndio maana tuko hapa.
Ndio maana tuko hapa.
Hallelujah. Vijana mnasikia? Na Kelvin Jema anasema bwana wanaume tuvae socks.
Na wavae kabisa.
Hiyo. Anasema I think Rev has talked of amino acid sana. Sasa hiyo I think I can take biology number 2 again.
Okay, let's go back. By then, these days, there is adult education.
Yes.
Any man that never finished Form 4, let me say this one. Let me digress a bit. But any man that never finished Form 4, whether you dropped at class 6 or at Form 2,
yes,
Every man should go back to school and make sure you get that certificate.
From where I come from, Gubaru.
Exactly.
Yes.
Irrespective, huku tunaitaga adult education because we want it to look nice.
Yes.
Irrespective of your age,
yes,
there is no man in Kenya who should drop out of school for whatever reason. Everybody should make sure they go back and do that biology paper too.
Kelvin Jema, biology paper 2 tunakuja kufanya.
Yes.
And Alan Vidija Isagi tuko tunda mbaya sana. Simon K saying the young wear socks and they do jobs that don't make them sweat. So much. Maybe that's why. So wanasema Simon K has become their advocate.
But you see, you don't just sweat because you're doing heavy duties.
Yes.
Sahi, I can assure you you're sweating. Really.
Yeah.
Here you're seated and you're not moving. But your amino acids are actually working. You know, your pores, unless on a lighter note, unless hujaoga. Yeah, because tulisema last time unaoga unafungua hizo pores. Your amino if you are seated and you sweat, how about if you are working?
Wow, I agree.
Yes.
Now let's talk about self-image.
Yes.
Because as we talk about man and his image, we cannot leave behind self-image.
That is true.
What is self-image?
Self-image is your personal perception about yourself. It's how you look at yourself, how you feel about yourself. Us, who is Willie Kinyash? What would you say about yourself? If you have good things to say about yourself, then we say you have a positive self-image.
Yes.
And we also say that you have high or good self-esteem. If you have nothing to say, good to say about yourself, and all that you can say is, oh, I am not as good, oh, I don't like the way I look, oh, I don't like where I come from, I don't like the way my teeth look, I don't like my eyes, they are too big, you know,
like
if you,
I am short.
yes, or slim, or plump, and all that. If you have every negative thing to say about yourself, then you have a negative self-image, which translates to low self-esteem. Yes. So when we talk about self-image, it's about yourself, looking at yourself. I always tell people the easiest and the best way to know what is your self-image about yourself is stand in front of a mirror. Look at the person you see across the other side of the mirror and describe that person.
Yes.
You know, I am a lover of mirrors. You know, I tell you. The other day I was telling my wife that we need to put mirrors everywhere in our bedroom. As long as there's no window, kila ukuta.
Unajiona.
Yes, ukigeuka hivi unajiona. And then you know there are also those parallel images we were taught in physics. Unajiona kwa kioo ya kwanza na ya pili na ya tatu na ya nne mpaka infinity. Huko mwisho. Yeah. Yes.
Watakwambia Happy Women's Day.
Wacha waniambie, but that is what I am here to tell them.
Yes.
That men need to look at themselves in the mirror.
Yes.
And I pause for that to sink. Every real man need to have a time when they can look at themselves on the mirror and appreciate the work that God did. That Saturday, who said that the 6th day was Saturday? No, Saturday was the 7th day.
Yes.
So Friday, you know, we were created on the 6th day.
Yes.
So which is Friday.
Yes.
The work that God did that Friday, was it morning or afternoon?
Well, you can tell me.
But we were created on the 6th day.
Yes.
So that work that God did on that 6th day, every man need to stand in front of a mirror and look and say, behold, it is good.
Yes.
That is what creates a positive self-image.
And as you talk about mirror,
yes,
when this man stands in front of that mirror,
yes,
you ask yourself some questions.
What
do I see?
What do I see? Exactly.
So
because that is what defines you.
If you see a fool,
that is the image. That is the image. That is the self-image that you have now about yourself.
Yes.
If you think you're foolish, let me tell you, your mind conceives that. And you know the mind of a man is so powerful that it is able to create almost everything and make it become a reality.
Yes.
You know, you've had people say that they saw a cat on the road. And you pass the same road and you don't see it. And I can tell you the imagination they had about the cat, they actually saw it.
Yes.
It is the mind. It's a very powerful tool. So when you stand in front of a mirror and you imagine that you're a stupid man, that is exactly the image you have about yourself. And sooner or later, you begin to portray character that is equivalent to the fool that you saw. If you saw yourself as I don't know whether men are ugly. We are told that men are only funny looking. I don't know whether that is true. You know, if you don't like the way you see yourself on that mirror, I can tell you that affects your behavior. You begin to walk like somebody who does not look good. You begin to dress like somebody who does not look good. You begin to talk like somebody who does not feel good. So by the end of the day, apart from yourself, the people, the world out there also begin to perceive the same thing that you perceived. Because as man thinks, so he is. You are a product of how you see yourself. One of the things that I have had to teach myself over time is to look at myself on the mirror and actually appreciate who I am. Whether I have flaws that people will not like, whether there are things that I don't like about my physical appearance, I have learned to appreciate them. Because the moment I am able to appreciate myself, sasa wale watu wengine wataanza kuona ya kwamba, hey, this guy likes himself the way he is. Exactly. Unajichocha. Let me tell you, one of the things that I honestly did not like about myself, because now it's not a bother, is my teeth. I know I don't have very good teeth. To be very honest, I hope the camera guys are not going to zoom me in. You know? but I can tell you, I've had very big challenges with my teeth. You know, if I tell you this mouth of mine has 7 fillings and about 4 or 5 root canals, and some crowns done, you know.
Stop it there.
And I had every reason to look at myself on the mirror and say, my goodness, I am a kibogoyo too early in life.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
But I got to a point and I said, mimi ni mimi. Na mimi ni mwenyewe.
Yes.
Hakuna mwingine kama mimi.
Yes.
And I started telling myself, I will be looking at myself and saying, I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
And nothing can change that.
And
not even
as a result,
not even my teeth.
I've had to tell myself that the people who see my gaps in my mouth will have to love it, will have to like it, will have to appreciate it.
Whether they like it or not.
They will have no choice.
Yes.
And the moment people see that I'm not so much bothered about it, let me tell you, people have no choice other than begin to appreciate it.
And that is what I call positive energy.
Exactly.
You give yourself positive energy.
Because you're looking at yourself positively.
Before I come to tell you you're looking good, you have already spoken to yourself.
I already know.
You have stood in front of that mirror and said, you are looking good.
You are the man.
Yes.
Yes.
So before you come here and start telling me that
you are smart,
I already know.
I already had it from myself.
Ninajua.
Exactly.
Yes.
I stood in front of the mirror. I turned around. I asked myself, hii blazer nimevaa, what ikoaje? And I said, today I look hot.
Yes.
And guys have no choice other than to see me like that.
They have to accept
and
that.
Appreciate it, because I've already seen it, I've conceived it. And because I've conceived it, I will walk out that way.
Yes.
You know, because sometimes men, and I'm sorry to say this, sometimes men have very negative image about themselves, such that even when they are walking on the road, they are walking like some of their body parts are gonna fall off.
Or like a chicken that has been
anatembea ni kama mkono inaanguka.
Kama kuku imenyeshewa.
Yes, because they already have negative perception about themselves.
Yes.
And I want to tell men that how you look at yourself is very, very important. Before you wait for somebody else out there to tell you how great you are, can you affirm it to yourself? Look at yourself on the mirror and say, yes, I am good.
Yes.
I am looking nice. How I have dressed up today, the people that will see me will appreciate me. You know, and I said that last time, that before I leave the house, I always look at myself on the mirror and ask myself, how will the people see me? if I love what I see, let me tell you, the probability that the people out there will love it is very high. And that is what we need to do.
I agree. But again also,
yes,
there are some guys that you find that now they have high self-esteem. Sasa yuko imepita.
Sasa hiyo ni ya mtu ambaye sio realistic. That is not in this world. Because if you're in this world, you've got to be real. As much as we are talking about us looking at ourselves positively and looking at ourselves in a way that tells us that we are good, we also need to be very careful that we do not live out of this world.
Yeah.
We are here on earth. There are parameters that define what a normal, sane human being should live like. What a normal man will look like. It's like I come here and maybe I am wearing, say, for example, I have bling everywhere. I have 10 chains on my neck.
Yes.
I have 6 bangles on each hand. I have rings on every finger.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to look like that guy for legit. You know?
Business
Yeah?
legit.
Yes, business legit. But if I am going to be a normal human being, I put on a bling or two, and I will be looking.
And I can see you're having one.
It's my weakness, you know. Yeah, I put on a bling or two that will make me spice up my mood and make me feel that yenyewe. Hata nikiingia kwa mat, watu wananiangalia hivi.
So let me ask,
you know?
So these guys wanavaa rings every finger and blings.
Yes.
Does it mean that they have the high self-esteem?
If they overdo it, it's a psychological issue that possibly need to be addressed. I have nothing against bling. You know, you've already said I put it on.
Yeah.
And sometimes I put on 2 rings or 3. You know? But if I am overdoing things, there is something about my image. There's something I'm trying to cover up. Because I don't like certain things, certain aspects about myself. So I'm trying to cover it up so that people do not realize.
They start seeing now.
They see the blings
and rings.
But you see, those things also tell us that you have a psychological problem also. Because those of us that are able to, you know, analyze critically the behavior of human being, we will be able to tell. Ukiona mtu anavaa vitu kama hizi, ukiona mtu anafanya mambo kama haya, there is a problem that is underlying. So we got to be very careful that we do everything in moderation, because that is what the Bible tells us, that everything should be done decently and moderately. So we got to be very, very careful that we do not overdo things so that our self-esteem is too high that we look like we're the only people that know how to do whatever it is that we do. You know, we talked about guys that wear sports shoes and suits. And some of them imagine that they are the best. They know that they know it and they know it and they know it all. And if you try to tell them that they are doing something that is not acceptable socially, they will look at you, Zileza. Why do you think I don't think?
But
you know?
Maybe someone will say, you have just said, I need to stand in front of that mirror.
Yes.
And if I approve how I am wearing, I am okay.
Yes.
No one should disapprove.
Let me tell you, there's a difference between approving what you are wearing and approving that which is acceptable code. What we're talking about here is that there are people that cannot allow themselves to be taught. They are unteachable, if there's such a word.
And
you know,
when now you bring that,
yes,
now that comes in pride.
Yes, actually it becomes pride.
Yes,
that I am the only one who knows. I cannot be corrected. But you see, for us to get where we are, for me to have the authority to say that I know you should wear a maximum of 3 colors, I can tell you I've sat down under someone and critically looked at some of these things and be taught that this is how you do. This is the way you do combinations of your dressing. This is what you wear with what. You know, if I tell you that black can be worn with any color, it is because I've sat at someone and they have taught me that when you wear black, this is what it looks. And it goes well with every other color. But now imagine somebody is wearing an orange shirt and a pink trouser and a green shirt. I mean, a green blazer. You know? Yeah. And then they put on some yellow socks.
You look like
I mean, and then they claim that they cannot be corrected.
Yes.
Honestly,
Okay.
that is foolishness.
What's wrong with you? I am okay.
That would be foolishness now.
Yes.
If you try to justify what you're doing and it is not right, you will actually be termed as foolish. But when you can confidently say, I know I am within the boundaries, I am within what is acceptable.
Yes.
Even if I look at myself, I feel good, then we are ready to accept you. Yes.
True. Now, let's talk about our young boys.
Yes.
Because there are some young, there are some mature men today.
Yes.
They are facing or they are going through low self-esteem because of the way they were brought up.
Yes.
Because their self-image was affected when they were growing up by the words that were used by their parents,
Yes.
by the words that were used by teachers, by words that were used by neighbors.
Yes.
And so up to today, they are still suffering because of what was spoken.
Yes.
That today, you get a guy, he's 30 years.
Yes.
But when he was 10 years old,
somebody
said, you will never make it in this life. And that voice,
it has haunted them all through.
Absolutely.
I think this is now twofold. Because there is that man who was told that. And today he's maybe my age or even older, and is still suffering the effect of what was spoken into their lives. This kind of a man, we need to tell them that they need to actually get to a point where they now begin to outgrow that.
Yes.
And how do you outgrow that? Words are cancelled by words. That is why you see, if anybody goes to a witch and they were told certain words, the only way to cancel those words is to go to another greater witch who can revert that one.
Words. Yes.
Okay? If your parents told you or cursed you, the only way to get out of that curse is to get to your parents and tell them, I want you now to bless me. Because last time you cursed me, now bless me, so that those words are countered by words. Now, if words were spoken, were used against you, and those words have haunted you all through, the only way is to get another person who is an authority to speak such words against the words that were spoken. I'll give you a very good example about myself. I've had to deal with something that was so hard for me. I think I've said in one of the shows that I used to be a very small boy.
Yeah.
I was a tiny boy. I was nicknamed the Atom. You know, so small. As in, amongst the Form 1s, nilikuanga, you know, I was 1 kilobyte. I can tell you, slender and short.
Yeah.
Now, one of the teachers, I don't know why she didn't like me. And, you know, because of my size, I always sat at the front. Because if I sat at the back, I will not be able to see the blackboard. So as a matter of principle, every time I make sure I'm seated in front. So this teacher would come to class and, you know, would openly say in class, point at me like, Zileza, now you, yeah, you will get an E in mathematics. You imagine, I was told that, not once, not twice, not 3 times. And I can tell you for a fact, my maths in high school, and I'm sure some of my classmates are watching, my maths in high school, Form 1, I can count for you all my marks for Form 1, Form 2. You know, Form 1, Term 1, I got 18% in maths.
18%.
And don't forget, I had 94 in KCPE. But get to Form 1, get a teacher who tells me, you will get an E. And every time she comes, she points at me and she's like, some of you will get E's. 18%. Term 2, 23. Term 3, 28. Form 2, Term 1, 32. Term 2, 27. Term 3, 34. Those are the best marks I got in Form 1 and 2.
Even remember them.
I have all those report cards in my house. How can I throw them? And you know, the whole of Form 1 and 2, it was so bad. It was so tough because of those words that were spoken to me. Thank God, when I went to Form 3, in our school, we used to be shuffled up based on the subjects that you choose.
Yeah.
So I was shuffled up and put into a another class taught by another lady teacher who believed that every child can make it.
Wow.
And you know, when I got 34 in third term, because that is the time she started teaching me, the first thing she told me, she was like, you know what? This is not your best. You can do better than this. Wow. Let me tell you, that alone transformed my life. Within a short time,
the power of words.
I began to rise. I can tell you, when we did KCSE in Form 4, only 16 boys got A's in mathematics out of 182 boys. I was one of the 16. Why? Because of the words that were spoken to me by this teacher. Every time she would tell me, you know, Getogo, okay, Getogo is my my actual name. Gedega is my surname. You know, you can do better than this. You can do every exam. You can do better than this. You can do better than this. Until before I realized I was scoring an A.
Wow.
Now, you need to have words to counter whatever it is that was spoken.
Yes.
If you can get somebody who can speak words against those ones, and I'm now speaking like a pastor, please do it.
Yes.
It will help you a lot. But after that, begin to speak to yourself and saying, it was said, but I know I am not.
Yes.
I am good. I can do better. Number two, on the flip side, as parents, let us be very, very careful the words we speak to the young boys. Because part of the reason why the boy child is not doing so well, it is not that the boy is not good. It is because of the words that are being spoken. Listen to the media.
Yeah.
Every time the results are out, the boy child has been defeated. Every time there is a race and the girl, there's a girl who is abnormally strong that she can run faster than the boys child is been defeated.
Yes.
We've been shown the negative side. And as a result, the boy grows up knowing he is not good enough, he's not capable. You get to a home and the parents are always scolding this boy, telling him how not how good he's good for nothing, how bad he is,
yes.
how good for nothing he is, how he cannot amount to anything, even when he has made a mistake. Let me tell you, the moment you begin to imprint those words in the life of a young boy, he grows up knowing that that is what he becomes. If your boy misbehaves,
yes.
and by accident or by design, you know, jumps the fence and goes to the neighbors and breaks the leg of the neighbor's sheep,
yeah.
you know, don't condemn him to death.
Yes.
Correct him, but correct him in assurance and affirmation, in love,
yes.
letting him know that you did that, but that is not what you can do best. You can become better. Yes. But now when you tell your son that you cannot become the he-goat of the village, what do you expect him to grow up knowing? Even my father knows I am a he-goat. Yes. I cannot resist this
so
thing. Let me go and prove it.
Yes.
And you know, boys are very good at proving. So they want to prove what you said.
Yes.
Let me tell you, fathers need to take care of boys, assuring them so that they start seeing themselves right,
yes.
so that they start seeing themselves to be good.
Yes.
Don't call your children shenzi type the way your fathers used to call you, or call them stupid the way some of you were called by your fathers and your teachers. Let them have the assurance that they can actually do it, they can come out strong, they can dress up well. If he doesn't dress up well, tell him, you know what, son, you don't look so good. Let me show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And it is a responsibility of the father to teach the boy. True. So go with him and show him what you need him to be wearing, so that he learns that this is what daddy wants me to wear. And of course, be an example. Yes. We have to set an example as fathers, that when my son looks at me, what does he see? You know, I love it when the children are small. I have a 5-year-old boy. And let me tell you, that boy believes that everything I do is the standard.
Yes.
The biggest trouble I've had in that house is I've had to buy him ties. Because he believes going to church, he should be in a suit and a tie, because the dad goes to church in a suit and a tie. So at 5 years.
I have to be in ties.
I have no choice.
Yes.
Because he is imitating. And so we are the best example for these young people. The way we look at ourselves, the way we tell boys that men should behave, it is the way they will take it. Yes. If you tell your son that men are supposed to walk purposefully, not throwing up their hands in the air like they are being pushed from every side. That's the way he will walk. If you teach your son that he should comb his hair and look neat, he will grow up knowing that he can comb his hair. But if the discussions you have with your fellow men in his hearing is that ai nywele ya mwanaume ya nini mwanaume si sura ati mwanaume ni mfuko katika ngumu, let me tell you, your son will grow up knowing that. So we've got to be models for our children
before they go out there to look for role models. They should get that role
in the house.
In that house.
Yes.
Seated next to him.
Yes.
At that dining table.
Exactly.
As you're taking that dinner.
Yes.
He can look at you and say, this is my role model.
Exactly.
Before I go out there and start imitating some artists and some comedians and some musicians.
Yes.
My dad is my first.
It's my first model. That is true.
And we must model. To our children.
I'm sure, Willie, you've been inspired by certain men in your life.
Yes.
And you look at them and you're like, hey, I want to be like this man. I am sure you have examples.
Yes.
And that is exactly what we are talking about.
Yes.
That men should model for their children. They should speak positive about them. They should affirm them. When your son comes out looking sharp and good, as much as you're the one who bought the clothes, tell him, man, you're looking great today.
Yes.
You know, don't just assume. Because we assume a lot that men don't want to be told that they are looking good and great. And that is why they go looking for girlfriends out there.
Yes.
Because the girlfriend will tell them.
You can affirm them.
Yes. But when they have had it from their father, even if they are told by another girl in their class that they look neat, they know, even my daddy knows.
Yes.
So he does.
My dad will tell me that every morning.
Look at that.
So I am
okay.
This is not something new.
It's not something new.
Yes.
But I can tell you, if you're not used to telling them, they will be told that out there, nywele zao zinasimama. Like they are electrocuted. You mean kuna mtu. This is the first time. Me. And the way my father looks at me, like, and the way my father tells me that I don't know how to scratch myself.
Yes.
You know, if your father is like my father would do like this to us. To check whether there is, we used to call them coal mines in high school, whether it's coal mines. If my father did like this on your neck and he found that stuff, you would have to go back to the bathroom.
Wow.
So we need to affirm our sons.
We need to affirm.
Yes.
And I agree. And imagine, time do fly. It's
Okay.
2 minutes to 9.
Okay, I shut up now.
It's 2 minutes to 9. And
I should shut up.
Yes, and I can see Simon K is on your case. He's saying, when they say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, what do they mean?
They mean that people that are looking at you are the ones that should see how beautiful you are.
Yes.
And that is why we are saying that if it's dressing, we should dress so that people can see that we are beautiful.
Yes.
If it is talking, I should talk so that people can actually tell that the words that I've spoken are so sweet that they want to listen to it. Why do people want to listen to me? Because I'm saying something that is pleasing to their ears.
Yes.
If I sat here in front of this camera and all I did is hurl insults onto the people that are watching, I tell you the truth, right now, nobody would be watching this show.
Yeah.
But why are they watching? Because the words that we are speaking to them, Willie, is appealing to their ears.
Yes.
So beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And equally, when I stand in front of the mirror, I should behold at the beauty that is across the other side.
True.
Yes.
And about colors.
Yes.
Simon K is saying, Joseph had the coat of many colors.
Many. How many are they? 2 are many. 3 are many. I need a description of how many colors they were.
Yes.
And how crashing they were, or how rhyming they were.
Yes.
Yes.
Simon K, you get that?
We will be here with him next week. We have issues to sort out.
And our time is up.
Oh my.
Kindly, you can give your final remarks.
I want to say thank you, men, for watching. And also the ladies that are there. I hope the ladies will take these tips to their men, because it's indeed important that they get to learn. But I want to say that the way we see ourselves as men, we need to appreciate who we are. Before we wait for somebody else to appreciate that we are men, let us appreciate ourselves. Let us look at ourselves and see that we are actually looking good. If it means putting on some lotion on your face, Please do it if it is going to make you feel nice. Don't let anybody tell you that you're behaving womanish. You know, I'm avoiding I'm avoiding using the word feminine. If that is what makes you feel good and happy, please do it.
Yes.
Because it is going to be for your own good. Your image is very, very important, but it is most important to you yourself. If you cannot appreciate yourself, you will not be able to appreciate others, and you will not have others appreciate you. Wow. Have a blessed night, and God bless you.
Wow, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Nimejengeka hata mimi. And so, if you're man out there and you've been suffering with self-image, you've been suffering with low self-esteem, every morning when you wake up, stand in front of that mirror and start speaking positive things.
Yes.
Start prophesying to yourself.
Yes.
Before a prophet comes to prophesy to you, prophesy to yourself.
Sure.
Speak positive words. As you walk out walk out of that house, go saying that I will make it. Because when you have the mindset of winning, you can be sure nothing else will happen but only winning. But
Yes.
when you walk out doubting and saying that I'm not sure whether I'll make it, you can be sure that is what will follow you. So when you stand in front of that mirror, what do you see? And Abraham was told, as far as you can see, that is what will be yours. That will be your land, as far as you can see. So when you stand in that mirror, what do you see? When you stand outside there, you're going into the business, how far can you see? Are you seeing defeat, or are you seeing winning? Are you seeing profit, or are you seeing loss? It is all up to you. And you know what? It is all in your mind. So set your mind positively and you'll be able to make it. And tonight we come to the end of this show. We were doing the episode 2 of Man and His Image. And this is the city gate, where we always ensure that nothing leaves the city that is supposed to be in the city, and all that is required to be in the city, we ensure that it is brought to the city, and we tackle the issues that real men in this real world face and go through. Where else can you get such a program? It is only on Wema TV, the voice of hope. My name is Willie Kinyash, the undisputed, and tonight I was with my friend here.
Yes, Reverend Gigi.
Yes,
and we thank God.
In absentia, Reverend Bernard Warui akukule Homa Bay, and our very own Simon K, who had some health issues, but you have prayed for him.
Yes.
And he has already recovered. And so on Monday, the 4 suspects
will be here.
Right here.
Yes.
And we'll be having a lovely time together. For now, it is a good night. God bless you. And see you on Monday. Have a blessed week ahead and blessed night. Kwa heri ya kuonana.